Hey, here we are. The first ever Facebook Live Moneyball episode. Welcome all. I am extremely excited to be sitting next to Chris Cloutier with the Buffalo Bandits. He was kind enough to come out here today. We have an event at the Buffalo Bills Fieldhouse. It's just kind of winding down, and I said, what a perfect time to interview professional lacrosse player. Who wouldn't want to sit down and have a conversation with this guy? So thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no, thanks for thinking of me. Glad I could be here.
It's a lot of you came down, it's winding down here. I mean, there was a lot of people, a lot of kids running around here. It was kind of loud and I was getting a headache. So thank you for, kind of, I don't know, this is a little easier now. But yeah, man, thanks a lot. And I, nice casual conversation, right? I figured we could talk a little bit about the way the season's going thus far. You and I talked a little bit prior to this about expectations after last season. Are you happy with the season thus far? How do you feel everything's been going?
Yeah, obviously, it's not the best season we've had record-wise. I think we've been dealing with a lot of, things we can't control, like injuries and whatnot. However, I think we're kind of putting the pieces together right at the right time here, going into playoffs, still fighting for a playoff spot, but we've given ourselves a good chance, and if we can finish out strong, we should be able to get in there, maybe even, who knows, a home game as well, which, would be great for us and the city of Buffalo.
Absolutely.
So, just trying to take it game by game. Can't really think about the past, can't dwell on how the season's gone this far. Just, got to realize what we need to do in order to get to where we want to be, and just do what we can from this point on.
I love it, man. And that's an amazing attitude, and I think, the top professionals, the true winners, that's the attitude they have, right? I mean, you could literally lose the first 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, and then win the next 10, and guess what? You're riding that hot streak into the playoffs.
Exactly.
It almost works out better sometimes,
exactly.
Right? I'm a huge baseball guy, and I say that every year. Whoever is hot, come August, September, they're the ones that go on the streak, and they end up winning it. Like, listen, I'm a huge Braves fan. The Phillies got hot.
Yep.
And they took out Braves' best record in maybe ever, and they came and took them out. So, as far as personal accolades, and you seem very, very much like a team guy and someone, who's on that end of things. But I noticed you are having a great season. I want to congratulate you on that.
Thanks.
What do you attribute that to? Are you putting more work in, or is it just something where you said, okay, this is going to come by natural attrition, I'm going to get mine, or what would you say?
Yeah, no, I think it's a couple different things. One is like, it's the first time I've really been like taking my fitness and my eating and nutrition and stuff like that into account. I've been able to get by with being young and just kind of being able to do whatever I want nutrition wise, and that's starting to actually be my downfall. Is like, if I gain too much weight in the off season, I can't burn it like I did back in college or just coming out of college. So I'm doing.
Isn't it wild just how every year, you start getting, like when you're 21, 22, and then all of a sudden 26, 20, and now it's 28, right?
Now 28, which doesn't seem that old.
No, it's not that old, but
trust me, I feel the difference in my body. I feel the difference in how I react when I eat the right things. Yeah. And then the other thing is, just being able to play with, guys who are my best friends, on and off the floor, It's hard to, go into a game and not give it your all and let off the gas when, you're playing for and with, your best friends in the world. So, that's a big thing for me is, playing for the guy next to you, playing for something bigger than yourself. And that's kind of like the attitude I always have is, my stats will be whatever they are as long as we're doing well, and I know that I'm just out there doing my job. Right. That's what I'm looking for.
Lacrosse to me is a brotherhood. I mean, maybe unlike any other sport. I know football. I think more so high school or college, and then when you get to a pro level of football, it doesn't come so much about that. Baseball. Every sport is to a certain extent, but I truly feel like lacrosse is a true brotherhood, right? That could be maybe, because of the national notoriety maybe isn't there, right? There's not $1 million contracts or things like that, or maybe egos don't get away, in the way as much. Is that maybe part of it?
I think about that quite often, and I think a lot of it has to do with, we were talking before you know, about how a lot of guys have full-time jobs as well.
Yeah.
You know, so you know the guys that are in the league putting in the work that you need to put in as a professional athlete, because we are still professional athletes.
Of course, yes.
Are guys that love the game and they play the game for the right reason. It's not because, and no one's out there making $1 million in lacrosse right now. So, you know, no one's just there to get a check.
And that's an excellent point.
So, you know, I think everyone's there for the right reasons. Everyone's bought into the team, and you can see that because, you know, no one is playing for their own stats, because there aren't very many guys that are signing contracts with like personalized bonuses and things like that.
Which we hope to change, right?
Exactly.
We're hoping to change. We're going to make a push for that. I can tell you, if no one's ever been to a Buffalo Bandits game, it's one of the craziest fun events I think that you can go to. You've toured around, right? You've obviously been to all these different cities with lacrosse. How would you rank Buffalo? And, you know, we don't want any hate mail or anything, right? So you might have to, but how would you rank Buffalo as far as fan support?
I think it's not even close. Like, Buffalo is number one.
Really? Hands down.
Yeah. And, like, it's really not even close. And I truly think if you ask anyone in the league, it'd be the same answer.
Yeah.
You know, it's the hardest place to play in for a team that isn't Buffalo, and it's the best place to play in.
Okay, so you're saying I ask somebody on the Denver team or the Colorado team, they're going to say Buffalo?
Denver might be the only one that
bad example.
Says they do, but like even they call the ball center the Loud House, but like they'll have like the 300s blocked off.
Oh, really?
Arena.
Okay.
So it's like you just look at the numbers and like still like no one's really doing what Buffalo is doing.
Yeah, no, that's. Listen, the game was sold out when I went, and I think most of them are. I think almost all the games.
We're expecting a sold-out game this weekend against Calgary, and we actually just got the email about it already. So you know, it's wild to, you know, in a sport where, you know, when I was growing up, I would tell people I'm a lacrosse player, and they'd be like, "Is that the game with the stick and the mesh and the head?" And
are you Canadian?
Yeah.
Okay.
And now like I'm walking around Buffalo and like I'm at the mall and someone will say like, "Are you Chris Cloutier?" And like that's still like new to me.
Yeah.
And, like,
autographs and things like that.
Yeah, it's nothing like, you know, the Sabres or the Bills get, but like even
listen,
just
man,
like
I think it is to a lot of people. Embrace it.
When someone's been brought up in this sport that doesn't get a lot of recognition, all of a sudden you're being noticed for something you never thought you would. It's a cool feeling.
Well, like you said, it's a good feeling for you and the fact that you know it's for lacrosse.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Now, when did you start playing? At what age?
So no one in my family ever played, but my first babysitter's son played, and he gave me a stick when I was like 3, and I just started playing from then, shooting on like cardboard Pokemon and things like that. So
for targets and stuff.
Yeah. So no, like in our league, like, you know, like we'd have like Pikachu in like a cardboard cutout as the goalie. And,
all right.
Shoot on that. In like paperweight, but it was.
Where are you from? In sorry, my son just cut in. Since we're live, I could say my son Deacon just cut in here. Where in Canada are you from?
I'm from Kitchener, Ontario.
From Kitchener, Ontario.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
And then collegiately, did you play?
Yep, I played at North Carolina.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
all
lucky enough to win a championship when I was there.
Yeah. They're one of the top dogs, right?
Yeah, they're usually in the hunt. They're, you know, struggling a little bit this year, but like us, they're putting it together at the right time. So
I love, you know, that feeling that you've now won at the collegiate level, and you won with the Bandits, and you could say, okay, that's the pinnacle of my career, right? But that doesn't sound like that at all. It sounds like you're extremely hungry to get back out there and win another one. When you get that, well, for lack of a better word, we'll call it taste of blood, right? Or taste. You get that win. You know, when you taste the winning sensation, is that driving you? You know, you absolutely just want to get on top of that mountain again.
Absolutely. You know, once you're up there, and like the other thing, like the one thing JT, our coach, says all the time, John Tavares is one of the greatest to ever play. The one thing he always says is like, once you're at the top, you know, the target's on you. Everyone's coming for you. You're getting everyone's best game. You know, everyone's preparing a little extra because, you know, we are the defending champions, and you know, it's nice to take off, you know, whoever's at the top.
Sure.
So you know, you're getting everyone's best game, and you got to be ready for that every game. You know, every night you got to come knowing that, you know, you're getting their best, and people are preparing for you, watching film, doing all this, and you got to make sure you're on top of your game. You know, changing up the things you do, you know, different shots you take because goalies are watching film and things like that. So You know, it's just kind of, and again, I go back to that whole like playing with your best friends thing. It's like you win with your friends, and you just want to keep doing that over and over, because like you get to celebrate that afterwards, and then also, you know, every game you walk into the KeyBank Center, you see that banner up there, and you're like, you don't know when the next one could come. You want to just keep stacking them up while you have,
and you want to be part of that.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Speaking of JT, I mean, he kind of put everything on the map, right, for the Bandits. I remember when I was a kid, I don't know, 13, 14, 15, and the Bandits just came to Buffalo. Is he a school teacher?
Yeah, he still is.
Yeah, okay, still is?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So, and you know, he was a school teacher, and everybody was like, Tavares, he still like probably has records, right? Like,
Oh yeah, he still does. And
he's
actually,
a legend. He's a legend.
You know, our assistant captain, Dane Smith, is like on his heels pretty tight right now.
Oh yeah, for a record, yeah.
For like I think a number of his records. I think he beat one of them last year. I forget exactly which one. I think it was assists, most assists in a season.
Now is he the type of dude that's going to pat him on the back, or is he like, hey man, I want to keep my records?
He'll pat him on the back.
There is some guys like that, right?
He likes to see the guys succeed, and he thinks it's cool, and it's a cool experience for both of them. You know, like Dane was lucky enough to play with JT on the same team.
Okay.
And Dane came into the league early, you know, before he was done college, so. You know, he got to play with JT, so be teammates, and now
That's rad, man. That's
coach to assistant captain, leader. So that's cool.
Would you ever coach if it, say down the road?
Absolutely. You know, that's kind of why I got into, you know, working in schools and teaching is, you know, the end goal has always been coaching. I want to stay in the game. And, you know, if I can end up somewhere where I'm still doing something full-time lacrosse, you know, when I'm done playing, you know, that's kind of where my dream's at.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, man, this was awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time and coming out. I know you had other things to do today, and just very, very salt of the earth, kind person, and we certainly appreciate it. I know some of these kids are happy to see you. And any questions for me?
No, I really, really appreciate you.
Nobody's ever asking me questions, right? I mean, when you become a multi-millionaire, you know, are you going to remember me or anything? No, man, thanks a lot. Truly appreciate it. This was awesome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, cool. Cut. How do we cut?